You're listening to DraftKings Network.
You know that sound. It's the sound of money hitting your Venmo account, a friend paying you back, or maybe it's getting cash back from your favorite business when you pay with the Venmo debit card, or it's realizing you can pay with Venmo at checkout at thousands of brands. Now, there are so many more ways to answer the question, what's your Venmo? Download Venmo today. The Venmo MasterCard is issued by the Bancorp Bank N.A. pursuant to license by MasterCard International Incorporated. Dosh cashback terms apply.
This episode is brought to you by Google Gemini. With the Gemini app, you can talk live and have a real-time conversation with an AI assistant. It's great for all kinds of things, like if you want to practice for an upcoming interview, ask for advice on things to do in a new city, or brainstorm creative ideas. And by the way, this script was actually read by Gemini. Download the Gemini app for iOS and Android today. Must be 18 plus to use Gemini Live.
This is the Dan Batard Show with the Stugotz podcast.
I know that I have had a hard time over the last few years trying to get you guys to get interested in baseball, but there was something that happened last week at the top of the sport where the Pirates have a phenom who throws everything 100 miles an hour, and he's facing Ohtani. Paul Skenes is his name, and he's all mustache and arm, and the first time up, he just throws 3 fastballs past Ohtani that swings and misses through all of them, and then the next time up, Ohtani hits a bomb to center field. And it was just great to watch them at the top of the sport. But one of the things I thought of when I saw Skenes is, and I've noticed this recently, and I didn't know, nobody told me. The mustache has made a comeback. Baseball, it's all over baseball, but Stuart Skinner, the Edmonton goalie, this mustache, when did this happen that the mustache, nobody informed me that baseball was going with a bunch of ridiculous mustaches.
Not just baseball. I think young people in general are just going with mustaches. They're back in. I see them everywhere.
It's crazy.
Yes.
Tony brought it back.
I think it started being back a few years ago, and honestly, I think it's at its peak right now. Now, if you're doing the mustache, you're on the tail end of it. You better do it quick because it's soon to be gone, I think.
Okay, I'm going to grow a mustache. I can do that.
Can you?
Yeah, I can grow a mustache.
Should.
Yeah.
Would you please? Let's take you up on it right now. Just for attention and clicks, the Greg Cody Show.
It takes time.
Featuring Greg Cody.
Yes, yeah.
How long do you imagine? I imagine it will come in very slowly for you. I don't think you're going to have a bushy. It's going to take months for you to have a mustache.
Well, here's the thing. I cannot grow a beard. It would take me the rest of my life to grow a decent beard, and it would be awful looking. I can grow a goatee pretty well. My mustache will come in.
A goatee.
Yeah, Greg Coatee.
Yes.
Very nice. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to do that. I make a commitment to this show and to the Greg Cody Show podcast that we're going to have a mustache like Paul Skenes' mustache. I want to look like a guy in an 1890s barbershop quartet. That's the kind of mustache I'm going for.
Greg, that picture of you where you have dark brown hair from the Herald, I want to say maybe 30 or 40 years ago, do you not have a mustache in that picture? I feel like I picture you. If you photoshopped a mustache onto it, I would believe it.
You know what? I definitely had a mustache in my 20s and 30s. And then I was coming out of a Denny's one night and wearing my mustache, and a stranger said that I looked like Groucho Marx. And from that day forward, I shaved my mustache, and I've never had another mustache. Not that there's anything wrong with Groucho Marx.
So we're going to unretire after 50 years is what you're telling us.
I am going to
This is excellent.
Cultivate a mustache.
This is very exciting.
Yeah.
You continue to be a star in all the ways that this show needs.
I mean, you guys could you all three could do
Let's
it.
all
Dan,
grow
you
a
kind of
mustache.
have a mustache.
Well,
you could just
take me
shave
2
the
days.
beard.
See, I challenged Dan to shave all of his facial hair except the mustache.
Yeah, challenge.
I've never seen your
Unaccepted.
jawline, Dan.
Yeah, I haven't
Dan
seen
doesn't
it in
have
many years. It's covered by another chin.
He doesn't have a jawline. That's why he has a...
Oh.
Yeah, I just did that.
That's
joke.
not nice.
I just
Say I'm sorry.
He was
just-
not
I'm
doing a
sorry.
joke. He was just
I just-
being a jerk.
Yeah, I just
exactly.
did it, and then you did it poorly, less well, and second.
He was making sure everyone got it, though.
Yeah, I had to interpret because what you said didn't
You
make
weren't
any
listening,
sense.
is what happened.
Exactly.
You weren't. You were just your own voice is something that you love so much.
Me
that you
maximum, my voice.
You get lost in it. Yes.
Exactly. Thank you.
Did any of you? Did any of you,
Wow,
that's
there-
Greg Cody
there it
laughing at a cartoon mustache. That
PFPI championship.
I haven't seen
gala.
Chris's jawline in a while either.
Man,
come to
Yeah,
think of it.
interesting.
Wow.
Rough.
Hit those photos when the eyes turn red. It's like,
Yeah.
you know?
Look at Christopher pretending to be proud at winning the PFPI Dad's Dynamics trophy.
That is me winning.
Dad's Dynamics Cup.
He was so embarrassed.
Chris, it is so clear in that photograph that you are ashamed to be at the center of those proceedings. Like you are tolerating with a degree of persistence and pity your father's whims. It's you are wearing your father's pride uncomfortably, and you're just enduring that for posterity. It's the photo that you will have long after he's gone.
But at least someone dressed properly for the magnitude of that event. I mean,
Thank
well
you.
done, Greg.
Thank you.
Yes.
That's the Groucho
When
Marx
did Tom
era.
Selleck get glasses?
I know. Look at the
great.
size of those glasses. They look like television sets.
You mentioned Tom Selleck. Do you know the name of Tom Selleck's autobiography? It's out in bookstores now.
No.
You never know.
Really?
What?
Stole
Where
it
my
from
royalties
you.
at?
I mean,
I'm telling
Intellectual
you.
property.
Yes, I couldn't believe it when I saw it at a bookstore.
You never know.
There it is. Tom Selleck. Stealing Tom Selleck stole
Wow.
your material.
Yeah, bad book title. Good saying, but a bad book title.
Did you know Mark Harmon's book title is called That Kind of Thing?
No way. Everybody's stealing my material. That kind of thing.
You know a good book title? The Pride of a Lion.
It is.
Yes.
Wow,
Pretty
and,
sure Jessica was making that up.
and what a great Father's Day gift the Pride of the Lion would be.
Is it still on sale?
Were you making that up, Jess? Because I believed you.
I'm pretty
I've never told a lie.
sure
Yeah, there
she
you
was
go.
making that up.
Honest
That kind of
Jess,
thing.
yeah.
Tom Selleck's book's called You Never Know, though. Yours is YA.
Yeah, you never know. That kind of thing. But the Pride of the Lion, speaking of that, would make a great Father's Day gift. You know, go to Amazon, go to wherever you buy books and grab it.
Why would Mark Harmon have a book called that?
You know, why would
I fell for
Selleck
it
have
also.
a book called You Never Know? I mean, come on, come up with a better
If
title.
we're being honest, Jessica, my story, which was true, is no less absurd than your story, which isn't.
But people say you never know. No one really says that kind of thing.
That kind of thing.
That's true.
Yeah, run the words together. That kind of thing.
It's got to be one word. That is
Yeah.
correct. I want to ask you guys the question because I found everything that just recently happened with Dan Hurley a little bit confusing. So I'm going to go from the beginning here. Shams reports one thing. We trust Woj and Shams, right? They're the information guys. They get all the information. There's two guys. There's no third place. Like whoever's third place, distant third. These are the two information guys we trust. But every once in a while, their information is not the same, and it's weird, and it's never held against either one of them because we know how credible both of them are. But Shams reports that J.J. Redick is the front runner, and there's reporting all over the place that J.J. Redick is picking out his assistant staff, and then J.J. Redick is asked about it, and his response is, I'm not commenting on Shams' report until after the finals because he's respecting the NBA process of nothing gets in the way of the finals. I thought that was confirmation. J.J. Redick is going to be the Lakers coach when he wouldn't comment, didn't deny it, didn't say anything. Then out of nowhere, Dan Hurley appears. I don't know how many people know that Woj wrote a book with Hurley's father. This is a legendary basketball family. Woj is instrumental in the way the Hurley story has been told to America for a long time.
This is a dad who coached at St. Anthony's for 51 years, a high school coaching legend, and both his kids coach as well.
By the way, it was called Me Maximum, the title of that book.
Oh.
I'm sure.
Dan Hurley goes, this was a surprise to me. I don't know if it was to the rest of you, but to suddenly hear a report that Dan Hurley, from Woj now, Dan Hurley is the front runner for the Lakers job, even though everyone kind of knows that the Hurleys are about regional basketball greatness. They're about that area of the country and what they represent to that area of the country. And Dan Hurley's wife doesn't want to leave, and everyone's assumed he's going to stay there. But the thing that I found interesting is the Lakers search around for whatever it is that comes with maybe LeBron, maybe not LeBron. But this is top 5 franchise anywhere in American sports, this Laker franchise. They don't get turned down on stuff.
They go through a lot of coaches, though, I'll tell you that. I mean, at least recently.
They do,
Yes.
but the thing that I will tell you again that's not so easy to do, Stugotz, is an Atlanta comes in and flames out, or Sacramento comes in and flames out. How hard it is over different regimes to stay at the top of where the Lakers have been. Always matter, because they've got not just the coach, they've always got the star. But they have to prepare for something now after the star. And I was of the impression from the initial reporting, LeBron's going to choose his coach. He's going to try and get his son there. He's going to be running the Laker franchise because, as Udonis Haslam says, all of this is posturing. He'll never leave L.A. I don't know if you guys saw the live stream of Kevin Hart talking to LeBron James with Drewski. This was last night. One of the things that happened is LeBron was yelling at Kevin Hart, hey, people aren't hearing me say the N-word, right? They didn't hear that, right? And Kevin Hart says, no, I would never do that to you. And the only reason I know it is because it was just done to him.
Wow.
What's up?
I just bought and financed a car through Carvana in minutes.
You? The person who agonized 4 weeks over whether to paint your walls eggshell or off-white bought and financed a car in minutes?
They made it easy. Transparent terms, customizable down and monthly. Didn't even have to do any paperwork.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Hey, have you checked out that spreadsheet I sent you for our dinner options?
Finance your car with Carvana and experience total control. Financing subject to credit approval.
Stugotz here. Right now, my friends over at Simply Safe are extending their massive Black Friday deal for our Le Batard Show listeners. Simply Safe is the home security I trust to keep my home and family safe. I've been telling you that for years. This is your last chance to protect your home at Simply Safe's lowest prices of the year. Simply Safe is a new way to protect your home that stops intruders before they break into your home. Old school systems only take action once someone is already inside your home. That's too late. Simply Safe's Active Guard outdoor protection changes the game by preventing crime before it even happens. Simply Safe is extending its massive Black Friday deal for our listeners. This week only, you can take 50% off any new system with a select professional monitoring plan. This is your last chance to claim their best offer of the year. Head to simplysafe.com/DLB to claim your discount and make sure your home is safe this season. Don't wait. This offer won't last long. Keep your home, your family, and your peace of mind protected with Simply Safe. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Dan Batard.
All right, we got to go back out there. That was big. Wake him up.
He doesn't want to be bothered anymore. Now it's getting tense because he didn't need that as a result. He needs something that happens.
You can see him mother effing.
No, he says,
Can we bother? Are we bothering you right now?
Turn on your microphone, Greg.
My microphone's on.
Stugotz.
Paint the scene.
Paint the scene is I got to go to work. Good night.
This is the Dan Batard Show with the Stugotz.
LeBron is deeply California, LA now. They are trying to conquer what's left of Hollywood, and Hollywood is in shambles, okay? What's left of Hollywood, because these CEOs don't actually know what they're doing in the modern age with the streaming. They're pretending, but they don't actually know. They are crucifying the entertainment industry. It is brutal. But LeBron's in it. The way Peyton's in it, and he's running all of these meetings where, I want to meet LeBron, I'm 35, I'm a CAA middle manager, I can make deals in this town. And what they're building in Los Angeles is for after basketball, but he's still hugely valuable right now. More valuable to that franchise than it is to him, somehow. When they go after Dan Hurley, my first thought was, does that ever work? Does the college coach doing that ever work? The popular college coach, you really think somebody's got a strategy in college that's going to come into the pros and Popovich isn't going to know what to do against it with Wembanyama? It's going to be, oh no, Dan Hurley's system. It's going to kill like it did in college. Does it ever work?
Larry Brown.
That's your example.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Give me a second one.
I don't have one.
Yeah, it's going to be hard. Because Larry Brown is the example, and he coached everywhere, 50 different teams. But I understand why Dan Hurley's popular. I just don't get the idea that he would come to the pros and be better than everybody else. But then what I didn't get also is you're going to offer him less than Monty Williams? Monty Williams is going to make more in Detroit than this star is going. That's what the Lakers offer is when the coaching salaries have exploded, where Steve Kerr went from, I have no experience, to 5 years, $25 million, and now his extension is $38 million for 2 years. Your offer to try and get the two-time champion seismic hire. We're going to replace LeBron with leadership. Watch what we do here with coaching. The next step is Dan Hurley's going to show us the way. We're going to do it with a coach. You're going to pay him less than Monty Williams?
He would have been, had he accepted the offer, the 8th highest paid coach in the NBA. It tells me, Dan, that the Lakers, for whatever reason, never really wanted him to be the head coach. Because if you really wanted him to be the head coach and you want him to move away from an area of the country where he has spent his entire life and really has given no indication he's ever going to leave that area of the country, then you make him the offer that Woj originally reported, which was north of $100 million.
So you think that they lowballed him intentionally?
That's Stugotz. I don't think any of what he said. No, I don't think the Lakers do this embarrassment because they thought that wasn't going to be enough money. That's Stugotz's opinion, not mine.
So you think then what? That LeBron stepped in and said, nope.
What I'm looking at is I'm confused by what it is that's presently happening, because I think that Dan Hurley had no intention whatsoever of ever leaving that. That is a big public show of how is it that I go ahead and get to the Saban stuff here because I'm in college basketball. I like being in college basketball, and this is a negotiating move. We will hear from him on how tempted he was because he has had this itch. He said before that the ego of trying yourself in the pros is something that calls him. I don't believe that this would be a money decision given that they were already doubling. They were guaranteeing him stuff, and they were doubling his money. I thought the low offer came because nobody seems to understand that the Lakers are a mom-and-pop business, that Jeannie Buss doesn't have other businesses. The fact that that's a great American franchise with that kind of value, I can't believe all of that is still allowed to prosper, given that that's a mom-and-pop store. They don't have other businesses to get money from, so they have to lowball somebody. I don't think the Lakers are what they look like as gloss.
That's what I was going to ask you, Dan, because to me it just kind of seemed like they were being cheap, not that they were trying to intentionally be declined by a college coach, because why that would make them look bad, but so does being cheap, I guess.
It seems to me what would make them look bad is handing J.J. Redick one of the most coveted jobs anywhere in sports. And so I think you have to at least give the appearance that you're going after more qualified candidates, bigger names.
Shams is now reporting that he was never the number one candidate, and I go back to the beginning here. I don't know what's actually true about some of what's happening here, Stugotz, but I will tell you that when the information guys and the coveted people in sports are all wrapped up in getting out there whatever the message needs to be so that we can negotiate in public, what was thrown into the news stream during the NBA Finals, is the big college coach going to the big marquee franchise. The same thing J.J. Redick was trying to avoid because they don't like this getting in the way of things. The story broke and the information's coming differently from the two information guys. And Hurley just got himself a raise. And he just did so with the author of his father's book. That's what just happened publicly, thrown into the media stream.
Does he need the leverage? I'm asking you. Does he need the leverage, really? Like, if he wanted to raise an extension, he could have just asked UConn, right? He's won back-to-back national championships.
How does that one generally go with employers?
I'm going to stay here longer than my
asking for more money. Or you show, generally speaking, the way you show your employer your value is by having someone else point out your value.
I'm just asking if he needs leverage. This is a guy who's won back-to-back national championships.
I think it's also fair to ask, is the Lakers' job better than the UConn job right now for him specifically, given his family ties on the East Coast and his history there and the chance to chase history at UConn? The Lakers are kind of a mess right now. They do not seem like a desirable place to go if you're someone with all the job security in the world and a lot of money living in Connecticut. What happens in 2 years when they're bad? You just get fired, and then your previous dream job is not going to be up for you to take anymore.
Well, when you talk about what happens in 2 years, the part that wraps up the whole story, this is a prestige franchise that has helped to build this sport. It gets its stars. It makes its coaches stars when they win. The idea that the Lakers in 2 years would have had either nothing or college coach coaching nothing would make the Lakers far different than what they've been for 40 years in that sport because they always turn it over. And so I ask you about the future of the Lakers. The oldest player in the league controls the entirety of their economy. If LeBron leaves, maybe they build around Anthony Davis, or maybe they send him off and start over, and that's what the plan would have been with Dan Hurley. But it is much less than what it is the Lakers have been for the last 40 years. Like, it's not every year they're in and out of it. When they're in last place, they've still got Kobe's retirement tour. Like, they've always got something.
They find ways to stay relevant.
They've always got something to make the business run. But when
Right.
you say they've always got ways to stay relevant, what's plan B after LeBron leaves? I ask you. Like, what is it as you look forward to? Because
Bronny.
Stugotz, the part that I'm asking you about is, are you realizing what the difference in paths are when the two information guys are telling you? One of them says the path is Dan Hurley and whatever he's building. The other's J.J. Redick. Those are not the same thing. Like what is the plan for one of the most storied franchises in the history of sports?
But, I mean, Woj wasn't wrong. They offered him a contract. They were going after him.
Well, he was wrong on the dollars, but he wasn't wrong. You're right.
No, wait a minute. I'm not saying, well, how can you be wrong when you're in the middle of creating all of it? Like, what's the...
He created it. He forced the Lakers to offer him a contract.
What?
He didn't
No,
do that.
what-
He
what-
reported that he was the target, and then
looks bad here, though.
they offered him a contract, so he was right about that.
I'm not even saying Woj looks bad here. I'm just showing you how the sausage is made. Look, this is the way the business is now. All of this is changing, and nobody cares about how it is. Does the sausage taste good? These are the two guys who get it done, but they're not. The two guys are. The way that they get their information isn't the way we used to do any of this stuff.
I wonder what we'll do if J.J. Redick turns it down and gets a big raise at ESPN. What then? Because that would be
Everyone using the Lakers as leverage.
Well, how about that one? Jeff Van Gundy, I think, wasn't he told that part of the reason he was let go is because of the dangers of him taking a coaching job? Doc Rivers used that. That's a great position to get a great job.
It is.
I would like to announce my candidacy for the Lakers head coaching job as well.
All right, hired.
Remove Lebitard.
Greg Cody needs to apply to replace J.J. Redick on the broadcast.
Yeah, I'm going to let my mustache come in first.
Yes, knee maximum.
Better interview, yeah.
Ryan Reynolds here for Mint Mobile. You know, one of the perks about having 4 kids that you know about is actually getting a direct line to the big man up north. And this year, he wants you to know the best gift that you can give someone is the gift of Mint Mobile's unlimited wireless for $15 a month. Now, you don't even need to wrap it. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
$45 upfront payment required, equivalent to $15 per month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Taxes and fees extra. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes on unlimited. See mintmobile.com for details.
Dan Batard.
Is there back in my day?
There is, actually.
What?
Were you not going to tell anyone?
What?
Wait a minute.
You guys,
Tuesday.
wait
I've been doing this
it's
show?
a Tuesday.
Stugotz. Here's your guy, Greg Cody, with Back in My Day.
Shit, I hope I have it. Okay, here it is. Sorry. Adultery.
Yeah,
We are back.
That is
Waiting for this one.
This is the Dan Batard Show with the Stugotz.
Jessica just whispered to me moments ago, now there's a mustache, because we were talking about mustaches, and that mustache right there is about 50 years old. Is that mustache indeed a half a century old, Ron Magill?
It's getting there. It's 48 years old.
Wow, congrats.
We should have a celebration at 50. We should do a big celebration for the mustache. Are you happy that that baseball and other sports have made the return of the mustache something that makes you feel less alone now?
Yeah, I think so. I remember the time, remember when the Oakland A's, Raleigh Fingers, that whole team, that was a big mustache time. That was a great time.
It's back, though. You know this, right? I just learned earlier in the show today that the mustache is back. I'd seen them pop up throughout baseball, and I was confused by it. Why are these young people who are very athletic and good wearing ridiculous mustaches? But it's here.
Why are mustaches ridiculous, Dan?
I mean, they all look ridiculous.
Thank you so much.
Not all mustaches, but the baseball players I'm looking at, they all look like they're purposely going for ridiculous.
Well, some of them really, I don't think have enough to grow a good mustache yet. Some of them are still too young. But, a mustache, when properly grown and properly filled in, is a remarkable trait.
To be fair, some of them are growing them ironically, but Ron's is very earnest. It is a very earnest mustache.
His is ironic.
Oh boy.
No? Not a...
I went back and checked those A's teams. He was right about Raleigh Fingers. I thought he got caught up at Raleigh Fingers' mustache and, thought the whole team had mustaches, but Ron was right and I was wrong. Catfish Hunter, Gene Tennis, they all had mustaches.
Reggie Jackson, they all had mustaches, resplendent, and now they're back. Let's talk about other things. Let me show you this video from the rodeo. It's out of Oregon. I don't know if you've seen this.
I have. That's scary.
A bull named Party Bus was doing laps to God Bless the USA by Lee Greenwood, and it was the final bull ride of the night, and then this ends up happening.
Yeah, he jumped the barrier like a freaking show horse. He just went right over that fence.
Over the fence, through the concession stand.
Oh, wow. Lord have mercy. There's a lot of sphincter muscles that loosened up right there.
Yeah, out to the parking lot.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, he tossed that lady like a piece of styrofoam.
Oh, my God.
Yes.
Lord have mercy.
Oh, my God.
Yes.
Is she okay?
Well, 3 people were injured is what they say, but there are not enough details here. And the Professional Rodeo Cowboys Association says, quote, while rodeo is a highly entertaining sport on very rare occasions, it can also pose some risk. And I don't think I've ever asked you this. Why is rodeo still a thing?
I don't know. I think it comes from just the old macho, ranchers, the guys who went out there and had to work animals that way to work the ranch, and it became kind of an offshoot of that. And it's part of a culture, really. It's part of a culture, not necessarily that I'm all fond of. What I'm amazed at looking at that video, those people didn't even move. Did these people not see this 1,000-pound bull running at them? They just, that woman who got flipped, she never even flinched before she got flipped. Look at that video. I don't understand it. I don't understand how they didn't move.
I don't either. Like, is it better to just be completely boneless and liquefied when you're being hit by a bull, or is it better to tense up?
Hey, bull.
It's better to get the hell out of the way. That's the better thing to do.
You always tell us to stare the animals down. You tell us to stare it down. Don't panic. Don't run away.
That's the bear.
No, not a bull, Stugotz. It's a bear.
How do we keep track of these things?
Right.
Understand, when you look at a bull, guys, what does a bullfighter do to get the bull to come at him? He waves the red thing, right? He's making, hey. He's going like, hey, bear, but hey, bull. But this, with the bull, it means come get me. And the bull does. Different animals.
I read that the woman who got flipped ended up getting released from the hospital and went back to the rodeo the next day.
Wow.
Yes.
Brave.
I did hear that nobody had life-threatening injuries or any long-term injuries. Just a couple of bumps and bruises. But those people are all very lucky because that bull was on a roll.
How rare is the bull death? The bull-related human death?
I think it's pretty rare, unless you get severely gored. Every now and then you hear the people that are running with the bulls in Spain. There's been a couple of deaths in history of those things. Another, reflection of humanity being stupid. But it's rare that they're killed by a bull. But, there have been people paralyzed. There have been people gored. There's some really serious injuries that can happen from them. Oh, God. Why they don't even move. Look, they just stand there like bowling pins. What is that?
10 per year, Dan.
Okay, thank you,
Stugotz.
Ron, that's not an attack, right? That's just a panicked animal, correct?
Yeah, that's an animal running, get out of my way. That's an animal running, get out of my way is what that animal's doing. Those people didn't move. I still can't believe it. I've looked at that video 20 times, and those 3 people stood there like bowling pins. Like, what, you think the bull's going to run around you?
But when does a bull want to fight, though, Ron? Because that is just all you're telling me is that's the behavior of a giant, deadly animal that it doesn't know it's being giant and deadly. It's just scared.
It's certainly scared, but a scared animal can be a very dangerous animal. Don't think that any time an animal comes at you, that's always saying, "Oh, I'm macho and I'm going to take you out because I know I can." It's a reflex of a defensive action is what is happening.
Ron,
and that bull is doing just that.
I don't mean this as a joke question. Is there any significance to the fact that woman was wearing red?
It could be. It could be. I mean, we all know how the bullfighter wears the red cape to get that bull to come at him.
There's a very interesting article on Nature.com that reports that some animals' calls are specific to individuals, similar to a person's name. And the headline is, "Do elephants have names for each other?"
Yeah, that just came out in National Geographic, and they show that they do. And this has especially been documented with mothers and their calves, that mothers make sounds that basically relate to the name of the calf. These sounds are so individualized that they're basically saying the name of the calf. And, I wholeheartedly believe that. We've talked many times about elephants, how incredibly intelligent they are, how incredibly social they are, how they communicate with each other. It's a very social animal. So, it doesn't surprise me at all that they have names for each other and that they call them by their names.
I'd like you to meet. And this is my other son.
But that's a cow. Okay, that's a cow. That's a really bad cow there, Chris. No, elephants are much different.
Ron, I saw a video of a drive-through safari in Texas where they were kind of taking a family through or whatever, and a giraffe went and picked up a toddler out of the back of a pickup truck, it looked like. How far was that going to go with that giraffe had the parent not intervened?
Not far. The giraffe was not doing that in an aggressive way at all. The giraffe was looking for food. She put the food close to her chest, and the giraffe grabbed the T-shirt by accident. And once he lifted the kid up, the giraffe just dropped the kid. The giraffe did not drop the kid because anybody hit it or anybody attacked or anybody screamed. The giraffe realized, this is a lot heavier than that whatever food I was trying to get, and just dropped it. That's not an aggressive move by a giraffe. Giraffe aggression is done when they swing their head and neck like a baseball bat. They don't bite.
Animals never do anything wrong to you guys. I mean, the bull wasn't wrong in the last video. The giraffe's not wrong here.
About some accountability.
Can the giraffe just be wrong?
Let me ask you something, Chris. If somebody was, roping you and riding you with a cinch around your abdomen to make it uncomfortable, and you're really working hard to get this person off because it's so uncomfortable and beyond uncomfortable, sometimes even painful, how are you going to feel towards that person?
In love.
Sexy.
Okay, so you're one of those.
Baby.
Oh, God.
So, Ron, can you, I want to play something else for you here. This is a biker. I don't know where this is exactly. And he's just riding along on a bicycle. And then what jumps.
Oh, the leopard gets him. I saw that. Yeah. Oh, yes.
A leopard. What? A leopard.
That's a leopard.
I know, but you're saying yes. You're celebrating that a leopard jumped out from the jungle and attacked a man on a bicycle.
That's a clean tackle.
Well, he should have been biking in the bike lane, Dan. The animal's never at fault.
And, Ron, what do you make of what happened here? Because I'm assuming that was to eat. Leopard was attacking that to eat.
I don't think it was to eat. No, I don't. I think that was pure aggression that was experienced by that leopard by humans, either, stoning it or something like that in the past. Listen, Dan, in India especially, there's so much growth, there's so much population growth. People are just, moving into the habitats of these animals. And these animals are kind of starting to fight back. So that is an unusual experience there. But I have seen the thread on social media channels, showing several leopards coming at people, usually in these urban areas. And that's just because, they're being pushed to the limit. So that was an attack. If he wanted to consume that guy, it would have grabbed him and bitten his neck and killed him right there and held on to him like it does with its normal prey. But that was just coming at him, bite, scratch, and get the hell out of Dodge.
It's been nearly 20 years of this show, and I'm just making this connection. So, Dan, for years, people accused you of being like an athlete apologist, and we're just now pointing together. Ron's an animal apologist, and this may be why this marriage is working out.
That is correct.
But he's not wrong.
No, he's Ron.
Thank you, Jessica.
Wrong, Magill.
Ironic. Can you explain to me though the reason that I thought that it might be an attack is only because I thought, and you're right, obviously it would go for the neck, but I thought that being out amongst cars and stuff would be such a panicking situation, survival, that the animal knows it's got to kill on the first strike, and it's attacking a bicycle, so it's attacking something that's unknown. You're just saying that's an act of get out of my area.
Yeah, that was an aggressive attack, pure aggression, and my suspicion is that leopard has had a negative experience with humans prior to that. There's a whole thread of those leopard attacks. You'll see one actually trying to jump through the windshield of a truck trying to get after a guy. Okay, these are animals that have been in one way or another negatively impacted by humans, whether it's people throwing sticks at them, stones at them, shooting at them, whatever it is. Listen, animals remember things. don't think that they don't remember things, and don't think that animals will not fight back. They will.
The elephant you always mentioned as one of the smartest, but when we talk about an elephant possibly relating to names, calling its children names, what is the next species you would think capable of that? You always do elephant and dolphins with smart. Is there another species that might surprise me because you think they might have names for each other?
Well, like you said, dolphins, all the cetaceans, all the whales, all of the cetaceans, I think their language is so diverse and so meticulous. I mean, I think cetaceans probably have that, of course, elephants. And we have seen in some chimpanzee cultures certain different languages. And I don't want to say languages, I should say dialects. Dialects, because they're kind of offshoots of the same language. But just like we have dialects of different people, you hear someone speak English sounds different in, London, or sounds different in Sweden than speaking English in the United States. The accents or the dialects can be different within the species. And I think chimpanzees, a lot of those primates have those same types of varieties.
Ron, I wanted to ask you about Gertrude the flamingo, a 70-year-old flamingo that I read laid an egg recently at a nature preserve. Is that, how unusual is that for a 70-year-old flamingo?
70-year-old flamingo to lay an egg is very unusual. For there to be a 70-year-old flamingo is not tremendously unusual, though it's certainly on the very high end of their lifespan. Wow. We have flamingos here at the zoo that were here during Hurricane Andrew, which was, 30-something years ago. So, and they were adults when Hurricane Andrew came through. So they're in their 40s and 50s. So flamingos are long-lived birds, but having one lay an egg, now, I would be very surprised if that egg was fertile. So that would take it to another level. But for her to produce an egg in and of itself at that age is pretty extraordinary, but I highly doubt that it would be fertile.
Ron, I was going to ask you that. Do flamingos lay unfertilized eggs like chicken? And if so, what do they taste like?
Oh, Billy.
Wow.
Yeah, any bird can lay an unfertilized egg. I've never tasted a flamingo egg. I don't know what it would taste like. But, ostriches, they make ostrich omelets all the time in Southern Africa. They have them on ostrich farms. So all the eggs have the ability to be eaten. Some, I would imagine, taste different than others, but they all have kind of the same contents, the yolk, the egg white, and they're full of protein, and people eat them no matter what. I mean, eggs are the favorite diet of so many different animals in the wild kingdom.
Well, I did read that Gertrude was flirting with a 37-year-old male named Gil. So she's living my grandma's dream.
Wow. All right. Gertrude, put it on the poll, please, Juju. Do you know any Gertrudes under 70 years old? Thank you, Ron. Good talking to you.
Always great, guys. Have a great week.